What's up, guys? It is Gray, aka the Hokage, and we're doing something a little bit different today. We're doing a tier list. For my hero, the strongest hero, the mobile game that I've been playing a lot of, and I've talked on the channel. We're doing a tier list for exclusively for Arena, by the way, but we'll get to more of that a little bit later. First and foremost, tomorrow Endeavor will be dropping. This tier list will be before Endeavor. If you want, I will make another one after he comes out to see if he really shakes things up. I don't know if he will. I've heard that he's okay in PvP, but I definitely will be trying him out because he's my favorite character. Well, one of my favorite characters, to say the least, obviously, so I will be trying him out. Also, the summoning video will be happening tomorrow as well. So definitely be on the lookout for that because I'm going to try and go for an SS on camera, and if we can be lucky and get it, that would be pretty cool. Obviously, if you like this video, subscribe and comment or like it or whatever you want to do. Okay, so just to prove that I'm not a shill, I am, as you can see, #1 hero. This is me. We're going to double check. We're going to look at the title. We're at #1 in arena points battle. I'm #1. I think I'm still #1, actually. I am. I haven't really played this set because ranked is I literally can't play it. I only could play it the first week because my schedule was different. But I got it. You know, I'm the #1 for a couple more days. Anyway, I just wanted to prove the fact that I am indeed the #1 on my server. So, shut up. You know what I mean? If you're going to come at me. And before we get into it, some terminology I'm going to be using. Priority is a term that I'm going to use to describe when you can get a full combo on someone where the opponent can no longer tech out of it. And if you don't know tech, during a combo, some characters, it depends on the character. When they're in the middle of getting comboed, they have an opportunity to get one tech every 10 to 30 seconds or so. And they can get out of the combo. They can get caught. But either way. So that's what priority is. That's what teching is. I think there's the only terms we're going to have to worry about. Either way. Also, left to right will matter. The people furthest over here will be, I value higher than the other people. I'll explain it when I get to someone. When I show up someone, I guess. Okay, so once again, this is Arena. This is only the combat, the player-controlled PvP game mode. This has nothing to do with anything else. Exclusively that. Real quick, we're going to break down the tiers. Obviously, pretty simple. The only one that might need any explanation is Potential. That is a character who can go on either one of these tiers depending on how good the player is. And there's only a couple characters in that tier, so I really wouldn't worry about it. Okay, first and foremost, who do I think is the best character in the game for Arena? The #1 PvP. Oh, you kind of can't see it. I wonder if I can scroll. There we go. Perfect. The #1 PvP character is Momo. Yes, I think Momo is better than Aizawa, and honestly, I don't think it's that close. I think they're both really, let's just do this. There, how about that? That's what the SS tier looks like. I think they're both really good. Obviously, they're by far the best PvP characters in the game. And while Momo definitely can lose to Aizawa, the problem is Momo can also beat Aizawa. And Momo has a lot better matchups against other characters than Aizawa does. And then a lot of this tier list will be depending on the matchups and how they handle other high tier characters, because that's what you're going to be fighting, right? If you go in ranked and you go, especially if you get higher ranked, first of all, you're going to be fighting these two almost exclusively. So get ready for that. You better know how to fight them because these are going to be on almost every team, at least one of these people, and some other characters that we'll get to in the S tier. But yeah, I think Momo's truly insane. I think a really skilled Momo can wreak absolute havoc in this game. I think that if I had to pick one character only to use in 3 and consistently try in 1v3, I would pick Momo, and I wouldn't even hesitate. If she gets priority, here's the thing about Momo. She has a really easy time getting priority because she has hyper armor on her spear attack, which lunges really far. So keep that in mind. She has hyper armor on that attack. If she gets priority on you, so you can't roll anymore, she'll start setting up turrets. And those turrets, if she gets 2 turrets up on you, that is right there. That is almost GG right there. That is I'm not even kidding, because with the turrets, if she combos you, if for a full combo, it will do literally 3/4 of your health. And you can't do any, and if you combo her, the turrets will either at least do some chip damage. So you'll be, and they do a lot in PvP. They'll do a lot of damage to you, or they'll interrupt your combo and she can attack you first. Because her spear has hyper armor. The shield also has a lot of armor on it. Really, really good against Kirishima. It just beats so much attacks in the game, her shield stance. Momo's insane. Momo has so much armor, so much range, a good amount of speed. Her turrets are ridiculous. Like, oh, that character is truly the only thing I can say about Momo is because she has so much hyper armor, she can get caught by Aizawa pretty easily sometimes. Her ultimate isn't that good. And she has literally no way of knocking down Ochako. But her normal matchup against Ochako is so good that I honestly don't think that I think it's an even matchup at the least. I truly think that her because of her range on her spear, she can catch Ochako landing almost anywhere if she's near her. And then it's a free combo from there. It's just brutal. Aizawa, I don't know how much I need to explain Aizawa. He's insane. He can beat you and you don't know what the heck is going on for most of it while he's beating you. You just kind of sit there and you're like, okay. Okay, we're still, got it. Okay, okay, there we go. The Caltrops are such a nuisance. His teleport stance. He's a character that does take some skill. I don't think you can just go into PvP with Aizawa and just mash buttons. And I mean, you can do that and it might work, but if you're against someone who's good, that won't. But if you know what you're doing, if you have a really good use of his E, which is the wraps, which either set into a combo or can completely stun hyper armor targets for a long time, he can just mess you up with that. He has really long combos. He can hit Ochako down from the air, but he has to be in the right stance for that. His ultimate's really easy to combo into, and his quirk, if you can get it, is really, really good because it does almost ultimate level damage. I mean, hitting it's really hard, and against most good players you won't, but I digress. He's also really, really good. I just think Momo's just slightly has better matchups than Aizawa does. Aizawa can struggle a little bit, ironically, with some characters that we're going to talk about. Just a little bit. Not like a lot, but like a little bit. Now, S tier, this one I actually had a hard time figuring out because we're doing left to right, so left is better than right. And I think a lot of the S tier characters are really close together. I think I'm going to personally put Kirishima as the next best S character, if I'm going to be honest. I think he is truly really, really good. While yes, he does get absolutely, I'm just going to do this. I think I like this. Yes, I think I like this. So Kirishima does have a really, 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 really bad matchup against both Aizawa, kind of Momo depending, and Ochako. So he does have some not great matchups. But he still has he has good matchup. He still has a good match. Momo is weird because they have a good matchup against each other. If Momo can bait out his counter successfully, he's nothing to her. Nothing. He's a joke. But if he's intelligent and he uses the turrets to his advantage, because the turrets can trigger the counter, and while you're probably not going to hit Momo with the counter, you can hit her with the follow-up attacks because when you're in your counter state, you have further range in your basic attack and you still have your W. So he has range options available to him. And he just does so much damage if you get the counter stance. It is insane, his damage potential. His cooldowns are low. He has a lot of mind games. He's a really, really fun character to play, in my opinion, just because it's fun watching the opponent kind of squirm because you know that they don't want to hit your counter, so you can kind of use it to your advantage a little bit. He's a lot of fun. His ultimate hits incredibly hard. He is the only character in the game that I'm aware of, full on, the only character that can 100-0 you if you hit into his counter. He hits the counter, hits the W, hits the basic into his ult. I believe that will kill you. I'm pretty sure it's happened to me before, or he just does it after the combo. He can 100-0 you. I'm almost positive. I'm pretty sure it's happened to me a couple times. It's toxic. It's legitimately toxic because he is such an easy combo into his ult. It's so annoying. And he, we'll talk about that when we get to Tokiyami, but let's just say he's one of the better components of just running around and waiting for their abilities, which is a common strategy employed by people, but we'll get there when we get there. Uraraka, I don't think I have to explain too much why she's so good. Against half the characters up here, they can't stop her. One of them can stop her in a lot of ways, but we'll get to him when we get to him. But she hits free damage. Now, I think standard players on Uraraka aren't amazing. They're okay. She's still really, really good. She gets free damage. You know what? I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to finish talking about her, but I'm going to do that for now. But if you really put the time into the character, she can destroy people without going in the air. Plus, you can kind of use the air to bait out the abilities. You can go into the air and then cancel it. And that can bait out abilities like Tokiyami, spoiler alert, or All Might, even bigger spoiler alert. I just think her neutral game's a little weak. The Meteor Storm can be really, really good or really, really bad if you can manage to get it off. It's insane. But oftentimes you won't get it off because if you get hit in the beginning of the animation, it will not go off, and then you'll just get comboed. Also, her tech isn't that useful for most characters, because every character is a little bit different. And the best one is Tokiyami, but we'll get there when we get there once again. So yeah, I think she's insane. I think she's really, 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 really good. Probably one of the best characters in the game still. And if you know what you're doing on her, she's like unstoppable almost. But I do think she has some weaknesses. Just her neutral game isn't particularly amazing. It's good, but it's not it's not incredible. Tokiyami. The only reason I put Tokiyami above her is because he is, in my opinion, the best. I'm about to lay down a secret that a lot of people don't know, but Tokiyami, the way his quirk works, and I mean his going into liberation mode, dark shadow mode, whatever you want to call it, when he grows the wings, that works differently in PvP than it does in PvE, like a lot differently. In PvE, you just press your quirk button and then he'll get it. Eventually, yeah, he'll get it really quick. It only takes a couple seconds. PvP, it does not work that way. I actually don't know what his quirk button does. I have not figured it out. It doesn't give him attack that I see. I don't see a buff come up when he uses it. It doesn't increase his shadow generation, not that I've noticed, unless it is. It's minuscule. The way you get your shadow is you stand in your circles. Your W and your E both generate a shadow zone, and if you stand in the shadow zone, you will build up your shadow meter into dark shadow mode. This is a big deal because dark shadow mode turns Tokiyami into the best character in the game. He only gets it for like 5 to 8 seconds. It's incredibly short, but I'm not exaggerating at all when I say it turns him into the best character in the game. He has hyper armor on almost everything he does. A lot of his attacks knock up. He does so much damage. He's fast. He's so fast. He has a ton of range. Dark Shadow Tokiyami. If you could play as Dark Shadow Tokiyami, the game wouldn't be fair. The game would not be fair at all. It'd be like playing All Might if All Might was like faster and had better. Well, we'll get to All Might when we get to All Might. But Tokiyami also, outside of Dark Shadow mode, the reason I'm voting him so high is because so many people, mainly like Aizawa plays really passive, Kirishima's can, Deku's. What they'll do is if their cooldowns are down, they will just run away from you because they know that they're a weak character without their abilities, and they just run. Tokiyami's like, go ahead, buddy. You run. I'm going to farm Shadow. And then you become the Dark Shadow mode, and then you beat the crap out of him. That's why I value him, particularly the reason I think he's above some of the other characters. Otherwise, his neutral game is pretty good. His W's really, really fast and can start a combo. His normal attacks have long range, but he's slow. He's a really slow character. He has an awful, terrible matchup with Momo. Just like maybe the worst, or one of the worst in the game against Momo. And it is brutal, guys. I'm telling you right now. Because her spear just stops his, like, if he's like, for the first like 3 seconds of him using his Q, she can stop it. She can dodge his attack. Like everything he does has such lag that her spear can just get in there when he's done. His basics, it's really bad. He also can knock Ochako down. One of the few characters that can reliably do it. If he uses his Q under her, he will knock her down and she can be comboed from there. She'll probably use her tech, but it's still possible to combo her after she doesn't, for example, have it. And yeah, I think he's really good. I love playing him. He's one of my favorite characters, so I love playing him. But I do think he has some weaknesses for sure. But a very well thought out, balanced, very good character. I've already talked about her. All Might. So All Might's weird to rate for me because he has such high pros and such low cons. He destroys Ochako. Or Uraraka. I apologize if I flip-flop through the names. I normally call her Ochako, but most people know her by Uraraka. He has like 3 ways to get her down, because every the tornadoes can get her down, his E can get her down, his W can get her down. If he has any stacks on his Q, I believe it gets her down. Like her air is nothing to him. He doesn't care. And he has a ton of armor. When his normal chain has armor, his abilities, almost all of his abilities has armor. However, the best All Mights I've seen do one thing. They run back at the beginning of the match and they just start spamming their level 3 attack, which is the ground pound into the punch. They just spam it over and over and over because it has a lot of damage and it has armor, and if you approach, you'll get hit by it. It is so annoying. But if they do anything else, here's my problem. His matchup against Momo and Aizawa isn't good. And let me tell you right now, you don't want these two characters to be a good matchup against you. You don't. You don't want that. These are two characters you want to have good matchups against. But, that's why they're SS. But still, really poor matchup against both of these. Now, if he catches them, he can do good damage for sure. That's why he's an S tier. He has a ton of damage potential. He's really annoying, obnoxious to play against because if he gets you he just gets priority on you, you're just stuck there getting NATO'd until you can figure out a way to get out. But it might cost you a character. But getting him there, Momo just eats this man alive if he uses any ability because she can dodge his damage and then stab him, and his tech is awful against Momo. His dodge is weird because it's like faster, but it's also shorter. He doesn't really roll as much. He just kind of sidesteps. She just catches him right after. It's really bad. Deku, I almost didn't put an S tier. I almost put him in A tier. And he's borderline. He's very borderline. However, his use is he actually has a pretty good matchup against Aizawa. He does have a pretty good matchup against Aizawa. I don't know if I talked about Tokiyami. So his combo, if you don't know what Deku does, he does his one thing. He's a gimmick character, borderline. He runs away. He kicks you up in the air. He does his full combo. You lose over half your health, and then he drops down. He runs away. Tokiyami's really good against this one because, as I said, he can generate shadow energy off of waiting. He also, if you're Deku and you jump into Momo's shield, Tokiyami's Q, All Might's tornado probably. If you jump into those attack or Kirishima's counter, if he kicks into there's a teleport. If he hits those, he's getting hit. So you not only lose your cooldown, you also get owned. But Aizawa doesn't have a very super good way to stop it, and his tech doesn't get him out of it. Tokiyami's tech gets him out of Deku's combo. So even if Deku does hit him, he doesn't lose that much health because he can stop himself way out of it. That's why Tokiyami has some of the best tech in the game. Because no one else, it really matters when they attack, except against Deku, and I don't think any of these characters have that tech except for Tokiyami. Little known fact, if you didn't know that. Otherwise, I think Deku's he's okay. He really is just a gimmick character. It's really obnoxious to play against him because he just runs away and tries to kick you. But some of these characters have answers to that. And then, even if Momo, she's, just spamming auto attacks, sometimes he just runs into it. So, and his neutral game is not good without that. His ult's not good. By the way, some of these ults are... So, ults that are good, Kirishima's ult's good, Aizawa ult's good. Tokiyami ult's pretty good because he has a lot of ways to combo. Well, not a lot, but he has pretty guaranteed combos if he can actually get priority on people. But a lot of other people, their ults are too slow or they don't do enough damage to warrant it. Just a heads up. Okay, an A tier. Do we even have anyone in A tier? Yes, we do. We have Shoto. Okay, I almost put Shoto in B or potential. I could not decide where I wanted him. If you put in the time to the character, he has his uses. He's really good against Uraraka. He can get funny freezes. Damage potential is pretty high, but he's not fast enough. His damage potential isn't high enough to warrant what he can do. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. He's just he's okay. He's fine. He's fine. You're typically not going to see any other characters. There's some characters in potential. Honestly, my experience with and against him, I don't have much because everyone that played him either got body or did okay. And there was one time where someone did really good with him, but I was way newer at the game at that point, so who knows what would happen. You know what I mean? I do think the character has some potential. I'm not going to put him in potential because I honestly don't think he has that much potential to be anywhere near S. But I do think he has some use. I don't think he's bad. I just think he's okay. He's solid. He's average. He's an average character. Potential. Just going to do this right. Actually, we're going to do this right now. Yeah, we'll do this. Okay. Spoiler alert. We're going to do... That's going to be the tier list. But we'll talk about them all. Well, oh my god, this video is almost 20 minutes. I need to run through it. So Mineta, these characters, as I said, potential tier, they can be in any one of these tiers depending on how good you are. If you're bad at the game, these three characters will be in C tier or B tier. if you're solid at the game, they might, like Ida and Mineta might be able to do some damage in A. But if you're good at these characters, Mineta is a monster if you know what you're doing. This character is so frustrating to play against. I could not beat him. I think All Might and Uraraka have really good matchups against him. I think Hiroshima can, probably Deku. But the people that I play for Tokoyami and Momo, those are the characters that I ran with a lot early in the game. They're too slow, ironically, for him. They can't catch him. He has a really good tech moment, and he really early in combos. He's really mobile with his balls. He has a ton of damage with his Q, which is the first person mode. He's so much damage. And if he traps you with his W, I believe, it's the root. It's where you can't... Stain has it too, but we're not going to talk about these characters. They're not out yet. There's no point. If he roots you, and if he does his Q on you, you get annihilated. This character has a ton of potential. I truly think that if you want to learn him, it's worth your time. He can do so much. Just so much. As I said, I've been annihilated by good Minetas. I do think Aizawa is a pretty good matchup, so that saved me a little bit in the more modern recent times. But before that's the one. This is the one character that I don't want to like. If I had to pick between a character that I never want to see on an enemy team, I'd probably pick Aizawa. But if I had to pick a second character, I honestly would pick Mineta. I'd rather see any of these other characters before Mineta, if they're good. If it's a bad Mineta, whatever. But if it's a good Mineta, it's a nightmare. Ida just has a lot of damage and armor. The only problem with Ida is he gets annihilated by Aizawa because everything he does has him dash around the map, and eventually you're going to go into Caltrop, and then Ida's not nearly as worthwhile. It's really sad how bad Ida gets countered by Aizawa. But if there's no Aizawa, he's actually very good because he has a lot of armor. He's a ton of damage potential. His combo game, he has really good basics, kind of like Momo, where they're really long and quick. So he's got that going for him. Sorry, my hat is sagging. It does that because there's pins in it, so it gets a little heavy on one side. But Ida does a lot of damage. A really good character, but if you're bad at Ida, you don't know what you're doing, you're just gonna get wrecked. Bakugo is kind of like Ida, but more so in both directions. I think good Bakugos, if they can nail the timing of his Q, he truly can do like Momo with turrets levels of damage in one combo. If you can hit all your Q, it's insane how much damage he can do with his Qs. If you know what you're doing. If you don't, even a little, you have to like almost be a master at Bakugo just to be good at him. Because if you don't know what you're doing on Bakugo, you get destroyed. He is awful without the knowledge, the secret knowledge of understanding when to use his abilities. If he's using his quirk where he's like flying around, Deku actually misses him with his Q. Guess you didn't know. Fun fact. But Bakugo, a character that I love to see because good Bakugos are such a treat to fight because they punish you so hard. They just smash you into the ground for even thinking about, I don't know, being Deku. I don't know. Well, really got to hurt this. I did not want this to be this long. That's why these characters are potential. They can go anywhere depending how good you are. I think Mineta is the best of them, but I think Bakugo is really good too. Actually, I'm going to do this. I think Bakugo, for potential, his potential is higher than Ida's, but for the most part, Ida is better. I think it's more user-friendly. So, take what you will. Kaminari is pretty bad. Kaminari's pretty bad. I think that he can, like, if people are new at the game, he's okay against them because they don't know what to do. But against anyone who's even like remotely competent, he gets wrecked. I've only played against like a single good Kaminari my whole time, and even then he's still lost. So he's just not that good. He's fun. He's fun to play. If you feel cool and you like do, but you have to hit the opponent like 45 billion times to do any damage with him. Overall, I think he's good at B. See, these characters are laughably bad. I wouldn't even recommend trying it. Froppy, I don't care what you say. People who play her in PvP, she's fun. I get it. I've played her, and she is fun. She's a ton of fun against people that aren't very good because you just stun lock them forever. You lick them up. It's hilarious. You go invisible. No, she's against these characters. She is bad. She's just bad. Maybe not against Deku, because she can go invisible and stop his kick from doing anything. But against everyone else, she's going to get owned. Momo eats her for breakfast. Aizawa, I don't know how that matchup goes, but I'm going to go ahead and go on the limb and say that eats her for breakfast. I mean, like anyone else, she's just not that good. She's quite bad. That's just how it is. And Ojiro, once again, he's just awful. He's worse than Froppy. Like at least she has like a fun gimmick that she can do. Ojiro is doesn't. I don't care what people like. Oh, I've put in the time. And Ojiro's amazing. You know what? Fine. If that's true, more power to you. I have yet to ever fight an Ojiro that did anything. Literally ever. Not a single time. I played him. He felt awful. Froppy was at least fun. He didn't feel good to play. I think he takes a lot of skill to play, and the reward is not that good. I think if you're going to go for a high-risk, high-reward character, go with Ida, go with Mineta, go with All Might. Just don't play Ojiro. Just don't. Don't even bother. It's not worth your time. I promise. I don't think he's that good. And then something comes up. As I said, this is only the first month or so of the game. It's very possible that this all changes. People know what to do against Aizawa. Maybe someone finds out that Ojiro is the secret Aizawa counter and he destroys him. It's possible. But I'm telling you, in my experience, Ojiro is garbage, and that's all there is to it. As I said, if you want an update on this, let me know. I will gladly talk about all three of these characters when they launch. I really hope that I can prove some of the... To be fair, a lot of the CN YouTubers, the Taiwan version, they're not that good at PvP, to be honest. But, you know, I'd love to... I don't think their opinions are everything. I don't think they talk nearly enough about how good Momo was. They played on a different ping. Hopefully Endeavor is actually really good, because I would love to use Endeavor on my PvP team, and I probably will anyway. I still swear by Momo that she's the best character in the game, but as a character, I don't like her that much, so I don't mind kicking her off for Endeavor, who is obviously one of my favorite characters. Also, I'll be summoning for him tomorrow, just to remind you. That's going to do it for the tier list. I know it's super long. I'm sorry. I try to be thorough, at least in my explanations. I hope I didn't talk in circles too much. There's a link in the description of my Twitch. I do stream this game at least once a week. I try to on the weekends, unless I'm really busy that weekend, which happens. But for the most part, I try to stream, play some PvP. I definitely will try to be doing it this weekend because I want to play with Endeavor and show you guys some cool stuff with him. Yeah. Summoning tomorrow. If you disagree, let me know. Let me know what you think. I'm glad to hear it. I'll gladly debate you if you want to fight. You kick my butt, please. Come by stream. I do viewer battles all the time on my stream. So if you want to come by and fight me while I'm streaming on like Saturday or Sunday, please do. I think it's a ton of fun to fight you guys. And yeah, I'm going to cut this video before it gets to half an hour. Watch out for tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, I'll see all of you guys next time. Peace.